As you sit and think about the trial going on in the Senate, you're just like, what a farce this impeachment trial is. Because actual senators sitting in the jury were part of the actual act of conspiracy itself. When Major League Taylor Green and company were handing out tours over the Capitol building, it really is a farce because their minds are already made up, and actual people sitting on the jury in the Senate were all involved in the act of conspiracy itself. But you have to pinpoint not to the fact that they are no longer the party with principles under Nixon that would hold Nixon accountable, that would convict Richard Nixon over raiding the Democratic Party headquarters in order to cheat and salvage the election, even in the 70s. History would repeat itself today, with even Deyoy's efforts to undermine mail vote processing that we saw during the few months before the election. But when you talk about the Grand Obstructionist Party, it did not begin under Obama. It didn't begin with Mitch McConnell's speech saying that he wanted to make Obama a one-term president. It didn't begin at that time. It didn't begin with the Tea Party. You look back, millions of Americans need a check right now. They're wondering if they're going to have the money needed to pay the bills, to put food on the table, to pay for rent. $1,400 goes a long ways when we've had a disappointing job growth, a jobs report during January. Jobs are just not being created because the previous administration did a terrible job of managing the pandemic, and there is no mass vaccine distribution needed to thwart the effects of COVID to get the economy back on track. Whereas in other areas, like in, I think, Germany and Korea and China, they're actually in the positive right now in GDP growth. They're actually well ahead of the game than America. The Grand Obstructionism that you saw is no surprise. They did not want to work with Obama at all. He was a moderate Republican, as a matter of fact. Obama was a self-described moderate Republican. He thought he could work with Mitch McConnell. He thought he could work with the GOP, but that never happened. The GOP has made it clear that they were not going to work with Obama at all. And so Joe Biden's messages of unity is just not going to work when the Republican Party has become such a far-right, radical, fascist organization. And you've heard all the crazy crackpot things that came out of Major League Green's mouth. Heck, you just listen to Sarah Palin one. You just hear about the Obama birther conspiracies. It really has become an unhinged radical organization. Now, the Democratic Party, they're becoming the radical, they're becoming the moderate Republicans. They're not even that far on the left at all. They're actually becoming more on the center right. So the Democratic Party is becoming more of the moderate conservative republicanism, while the right wing has become a far-right fascist corporate topic conspiracy-laden organization. Not one Republican senator voted, not one Republican voted for the $1,400 check. Not one Republican. That shows you all you need to know about the Republicans' ability to work with Joe Biden. They would not pass the counter proposals that Joe Biden offered. He invited 9 Republicans to the White House to offer their plans. The Republicans only want to send Americans $600. If you vote Republican or any right winger, they don't care about you, not one bit. They don't express any empathy at all. Now, I give the Democrats credit that they want to give you a check, but they're still beholden to corporations. They don't do enough for a real progressive vision of America. And Bill Clinton and the centrist Republican light wing of the Democratic Party is the reason why we have seen a decline of the middle class that really began under Ronald Reagan. So the grand obstructionism that you see, Republicans don't want to give $1,400 to Americans. They did not want to work with Obama. So when did it begin? It began because Bill Clinton was a very popular president during the 90s, and Newt Gingrich had enough. Let's impeach Bill Clinton over having an affair. I never had sex with that woman. He gets impeached over having an affair. You think this trial is a farce? Donald Trump actually committed an insurrection against the American government. He tried to overthrow the legitimate election this 2020. He wanted to overthrow the people's votes on January the 6th of 2021. He told his supporters to fight like hell or else you won't have a country anymore. He met with Proud Boys. He told them to stand their ground. He met with them a week before the actual insurrection itself. Donald Trump wanted to overthrow the American government. 5 people were dead because of this, including a Donald Trump supporter. Donald Trump has blood in his hands. Donald Trump tried to overthrow the government. They tried to go in and hold Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi at ransom. This is what they tried to do when they invaded the Capitol building to undermine government business of certifying the Electoral College vote. Sedition, conspiracy against the United States government. Donald Trump is guilty. That is legitimate impeachment. Abuse of power, getting rid of the FBI, the head of the FBI. What was it? James Comey. He fired Comey because he was going to investigate him. No one in the Trump organization went to the House when they were issued subpoenas. Obstruction of justice, abuse of power. These are legitimate crimes. What did Bill Clinton get impeached for? Oh, having lied about having sex with an intern. You see, because Republicans could not stand that Bill Clinton was a popular president. Bill Clinton was working with the Republican Party when he passed NAFTA. Bill Clinton is Republican-led. He has taxes for the wealthy. He balanced the budget. Bill Clinton said he wanted to end welfare as we know it. Bill Clinton had welfare reform. He wanted to tighten up the border. Bill Clinton is as Republican and centrist as it gets. Why was the Republican Party so upset when the left, the far left, is actually veered towards the center? The Republican Party didn't have enough of that. They wanted to get rid of Bill Clinton. Newt Gingrich is responsible for the grand obstructionism that we see today, with the Republicans holding the HEROES Act at ransom for months since they left a final bill on the Senate floor during the month of May. Obama was a very competent, respected leader of the world, but the Republican Party did not want to work with Obama. Obama helped navigate America through the end of the recession. He got us into the Iran nuclear deal to create peace with Iran, to reduce their amount of nuclear weapons. Obama didn't give money to Iran. They unfroze Iranian assets. So it was Iranian cash that Obama gave back to them. These are the kind of actions that we need to have a diplomatic world of peace that we need. And Donald Trump, when he makes friends with foreign dictators, it doesn't help our image at all around the world. Obama was responsible for many other bad things that happened because he is a moderate Republican. That's what Obama is. You know, the bombing of Libya, he launched more bombs than Bush, then Trump launched more bombs than Obama. You see, it's the MIC, it's the military. The military rules the country. The military, the Pentagon, the banks. These are the guys that own these guys. The real power brokers behind the scenes is the military-industrial complex and the bankers. The Pentagon and the Fed have more power than the President of the United States. Well, who really has more power than the Federal Reserve and the Pentagon? That would be international banks. That'd be the Bank of England, the Bank of Vienna, all the other banks that were set up all around Europe. Of course, with the Bank of England's the most powerful bank in the world. But you're wondering why nothing's going to get done. It's because we have a Grand Obstructionist party. Want to make Obama one-term president? We can't stand Bill Clinton's popularity, so we want to impeach him over lying about having an affair with an intern, over fucking a chick. You see, that's a real impeachment hoax. Not legitimate articles. These are legitimate articles of impeachment. Sedition against the United States government. Abuse of power and obstruction of justice. These are real crimes. Republican Party is completely collapsing. The Trump cult of death is on its way with Ivanka. It is. It absolutely is. The clown show continues. The laughing stock of the Republican Party continues. They were totally taking Ivanka presidency, the Dems, if it means destroying the Republican Party. Which is what's going to happen, which is where you get Major League Taylor Greene. You don't get Major League Taylor Greene without Sarah Palin and, Sarah Palin and who else? Like Michelle Bachmann and whatnot. There'll be a lot of crazy nut jobs like Rick Santorum. You just don't hear the nut jobs at all on the left at all in the Democratic Party. So it began under Newt Gingrich. Even when that began under Newt Gingrich, Bill Clinton was the most Republican Democratic president in quite some time. Centrism is not enough for the Republican Party? What a radical organization that is. Especially if Joe Biden has made it clear that he won't mind seeing the individual threshold reduced. Because Joe Biden is a Republican. Don't kid yourselves. He's a Republican. If Hillary Clinton's a Republican, if Bill Clinton was the most Republican president in a while, he was no hero of the left like Jimmy Carter, like you get FDR, LBJ. LBJ was mixed in with the military-industrial complex a little bit, but he had the Great Society that reduced poverty by a half in America. That was before NAFTA and the shipping of the jobs away and globalization. But understand, you get to this point where the Republican Party are holding our checks, our $1,400 at ransom. Yes, the GOP is. It didn't begin when they were trying to prevent Obama from seceding at all. You don't have bipartisanship anymore when Newt Gingrich decided to launch the nuclear code of let's impeach Bill Clinton over his affair. This extreme partisan charade began with Newt Gingrich and the Republican Party's impeachment of Bill Clinton. No wonder why they wanted to make Obama one-term president, because it started with the impeachment hoax of a popular president. This Republican Party is completely abandoned all principles in planet Earth. Lord knows they need a progressive party, but there's a better of two evils and there's a far worse of two evils. That'd be the Republicans. Oh, let's ignore the science. It's a hoax or whatnot. And people are dead, including my own, because of this satanic inverted star, the Republican Party logo, and 9/11 and all this. No wonder why the country is worse under Republicans. But you know what? Democrats are doing enough for working people too. And they're certainly not going to give us our single-payer health care that we need during the pandemic. You know Joe Biden won't. You know he's got vulture capitalists in his cabinet who have these index hedge funds, like Ron Klain and his Secretary of Commerce, that woman from Rhode Island, and someone else too. That's a whole other discussion. We talk about diversity in the Biden cabinet, but is it really that diverse at all at the top? Almost virtually every single top cabinet level position is made up of Jews. Where is the diversity there in the cabinet positions that hold the most power? And thanks a lot, Newt Gingrich. Fucked up America. It really began with the right-wing Supreme Court and Reaganomics, and Reagan gave them the tax cuts to the billionaires. They got the billionaires to pretty much own the whole system and make bribery illegal. And then you have Bill Clinton, you have new Democrats. Oh, free trade, yay, yay. And that's when they became a Republican Party. And Donald Trump ain't going nowhere, man, because, President Kamala Harris refused to prosecute Donald Trump. That shows you how this whole thing is a big charade. It really is. But at least things are getting better. But we gotta demand more, because centrism is just not enough. And you just have to understand that. Is that we don't see a real progressive vision for America until they walk the walk. And I'm just not believing it, because I think they're going to secede by divide and conquer, and that's certainly what Kamala's going to do. But I think Joe Biden will be relatively popular amongst moderate Americans, among independent Americans, not among the QAnon, far right conspiracy bubble. They're not going to really buy much into unity, but Joe Biden's got to at least stop alienating and attacking American citizens and dividing and conquering them on Twitter, like you saw Trump doing almost every single day, attacking American citizens on Twitter, and focus on the next group every day versus Mexicans, and it's the Muslims, a Muslim ban. Before he gets banned from Twitter after his Muslim ban, it's the Mexicans, it's the LGBT community, and it's African Americans the next day. You don't see that with Joe Biden. And so I'm glad Trump is gone. I'm glad America's gone. But, people didn't vote for Biden. They didn't want Donald Trump. That shows you how screwed up the system is. And when I see these vulture capitalists in the Joe Biden's cabinet, I really don't regret my vote at all for the Green Party, because they are just gonna. Are we gonna reschedule marijuana as a grade A drug? Is Joe Biden gonna do that? How is Joe Biden gonna prosecute the states? Is he gonna send the DEA in there? That's what you gotta know, what Joe Biden's gonna do. I like a lot what he's doing right now. Get us back into the Paris Climate Accord. Have us lead the way with climate change. No longer are we going to have this private prison system in America. Joe Biden wants to go away from the private prisons. He wants to go away from that. Bring back financial regulations. Bring back environmental regulations. Repeal the Donald Trump tax cuts. No wonder why he's had 42 executive orders, because Donald Trump literally made things worse and worse and worse for the billionaires. You see. It won't be as bad under the Democrats, but thank goodness, man, because everything gets far, far fucked up on the Republicans. We've had enough of Reaganomics in these expanded the debt more than Obama did in his 8 years. Donald Trump already has $7 million debt in 4 years. This was even before COVID. Man, this grand obstructionism is bad for the country. Not one Republican is willing to listen to the evidence. Before even the evidence is brought to the floor, the Republicans already made up their mind. Nope, let's not listen. Let's not listen at all. You had a guy who committed sedition and insurrection against the American government, and these guys don't want to hold Trump accountable and convict him for high crimes and treason. They are literally ignoring treason and put on these rose-tinted sunglasses, eyeglasses. Everything's all well with Donald Trump. He didn't just try to commit a conspiracy and insurrection against the government that had 5 people dead. The most scariest thing out there is that there may actually be a smart Trump one day who would be a very dangerous and sly demagogue. There's someone like Vladimir Putin who'd be way ahead of the game in terms of chess. He knows what to do after the next move of his opponent. If it's move A, B, or C of the opponent, he's always one step of the game. And that's a danger for America, is that you're gonna have a smart dictator who's actually gonna have a bunch of seasoned professionals backing the coup instead of just Duck Dynasty and a bunch of loser meth heads live in their mom's basement. And that's pretty much who Trump had invading the Capitol. So a dumber and dumber hillbilly redneck insurrection. Oh, making history. But you can have an actual smart demagogue, and that's when you have fascism to the core.